What's up, my Metaverse family? So on this YouTube channel, those of you guys who watch consistently know that I have been waxing eloquent about how the Metaverse is one of the most insane possibilities that have existed in our lifetime, about how it's gonna absolutely revolutionize gaming and revolutionize ownership on the internet, and the world really has no idea yet what sort of opportunity actually exists here. But even though I've been talking about this for almost a year on this YouTube channel, the general public still has almost no idea what the Metaverse is. So in this video, I'm gonna be talking about 5 foundational cryptocurrencies that are literally the framework the Metaverse is being built on, that I think are incredible coins to own if you want to ride the Metaverse explosion in 2022. Remember, some recent banks have done studies on the Metaverse, and they're just really scratching the surface, I think, of the true value that the Metaverse is gonna unlock. But even some of these early studies have said the Metaverse is a multi-trillion-dollar opportunity, and I think it's gonna be even bigger than that. So if this video sounds good to you, remember to drop a big thumbs up, hit subscribe if you're not subscribed already, also click that notification bell, and let's get into it. So to start off, I want to catch those of you guys who are new to the Metaverse up to speed so that you know why I am so excited about this revolutionary breakthrough that is happening in virtual worlds. And for those of you guys who have been watching this channel for a little bit, feel free to use the timestamps below to skip ahead a little bit if you just want to jump right into the number 5 coin. But to catch all of you guys up who are new to the Metaverse, or maybe just have not watched any of my videos before, the Metaverse, the really big thing that's changing here is ownership. So essentially what is happening is the blockchain technology that has enabled Bitcoin is now enabling so many more use cases that the internet is getting real ownership for the first time. So there's just 3 quick terms that you have to understand in a basic sense in order to follow the rest of this video. So the first basic term is blockchain. Now, blockchain sounds really complicated, but it's actually a pretty simple concept in practice. Essentially, any cryptocurrency, or we'll just use Ethereum for example, has a public ledger or blockchain which is publicly viewable by anyone in the entire world. You can think of it as a Google Doc that literally anyone can go to the website of and see every single thing that happens in that Google Doc. And this Google Doc is very secure. No one can change it unless a bunch of validators all approve that the transaction is legit. So essentially, anytime you own anything on Ethereum, it shows up in that public ledger. And if you buy something else, it gets updated into the public ledger. And if you sell something, that is also updated into the public ledger. And because it is a decentralized public ledger that no single one person controls, and because everyone who's validating is very incentivized to give accurate validations, the blockchain essentially allows, for the first time ever, people to have real ownership on the internet, which is really, really cool and quite a big breakthrough. Now, the second term that you need to understand in order to understand this Metaverse revolution is cryptocurrency. And cryptocurrency, once again, very, very simple in practice. Cryptocurrency is essentially a currency that exists on the blockchain. It is a currency that is oftentimes limited. It has a limited total max supply. It has tokenomics that everyone can see and fully understand. And then essentially it's just a tradable token that has its characteristics. So when I say cryptocurrency, most of the time what I mean is literally just money in the Metaverse. That's all cryptocurrency means. It's money that can be traded for US dollar. And then the third and final term that you guys have to understand in order to follow this video is NFT. Now, NFT is also another really simple one in practice. It sounds complicated. It just stands for non-fungible token, which essentially means it's a unique token. A Bitcoin is the same as all the other Bitcoins that exist, so they're all fungible with each other. A non-fungible just means that it's unique. And when I say NFT, I just mean stuff in the Metaverse. Literally anything that you own in the Metaverse that exists on the blockchain is an NFT. And it's provably rare, provably owned, and can be sold in game or in any decentralized third-party marketplace. So these are the core technologies that are enabling the revolution that is the metaverse. So now that all of you guys who are new are caught up, let's jump into 5 coins that I think have incredible upside potential, especially because we've been seeing the entire crypto market take a little dippy dip. A lot of these coins are actually down like over 50%. I think now it could be a great opportunity to go shopping and buy some of these foundational coins that have so much long-term value while they're in the dumpster. So before we jump into coin number 5, I do have to say I am not a financial advisor, and this is not financial advice. All I'm doing is sharing my own research that I use and do myself in order to buy and invest myself. So I'm just sharing the research that I'm doing. Definitely do your own research as well, and use this video as a launch pad to dive deeper into all of these cryptocurrencies that I'm about to mention. Most of them I have made dedicated videos about on this channel, so you don't even need to go to another YouTube channel and you can learn a lot more about each of these coins. But without further ado, let's jump into number 5. So we're gonna be covering these in order of market cap. Smallest market cap first, highest market cap at the very end. So that means that this first coin that I'm talking about here is actually very, very cheap compared to the rest of these. The market cap of this coin is only $339 million, which, to put in perspective, is more than 100x less, actually 1,000x less than the number 1 coin on this list. So this coin has a ton of upside before it even reaches the highest market cap coin that is also on this list in this video, and this coin is Phantasma. Now, Phantasma's ticker is SOL, S-O-U-L, not to be confused with another coin that we're going to be talking about, which also has a ticker SOL, but without the U. So Phantasma is a really, really cool chain. And what I'm going to be doing in each of these like coverages of each of these coins is I'm going to be laying out a bull case for the coin and then also laying out a bear case for the coin. So let's talk about the Phantasma bull case. Well, starting off, you can see that this coin is on a tear. In fact, this is the only coin on this list that is not down by double-digit percentages, which is pretty impressive. So Phantasma has just recently actually been dipping a little bit in the past 24 hours. But if we look at a 30-day or 90-day chart here, you can see that Phantasma is actually up a lot. In the last 30 days, it's up 40%. In the last year, it's up 3,401%. So this might get a lot of you guys to want to skip this coin and go to some of these other coins that I'm going to be talking about that are really down right now. But I think there's a very good reason why Phantasma is not going down right now. So the first bull case reason why this coin is still a buy, even after it's had a very good year and has continued to go up in the last 30 days, even though most cryptos have been going down, is because this is a layer 1 blockchain that has some really incredible technology. The technology that Phantasma has really locked down, and I think it has one of the only like usable layer 1 blockchains with this technology, is smart NFTs. So you know how I mentioned how NFTs are these non-fungible tokens which really exist in your wallet and are verifiably rare and verifiably owned. Well, smart NFTs have 2 sides to them. There's RAM and ROM, and one of these sides is immutable. It can't be changed, it's completely unique, and when you mint your NFT, that data is going to be the same forever. But that is essentially all that most NFTs are. They're just this stagnant data that never changes once an NFT is minted. But Phantasma smart NFTs, because it has RAM and ROM, half of the NFT actually has editable data, which means that you can level up an NFT weapon on the NFT itself, or you can have a destruction period like coded into the NFT where maybe after it gets used a certain number of times it breaks, all of which are very useful for video game items and enable items in the metaverse to have far more depth and be a lot more smart, which is, you know, why they're called smart NFTs. So I think that the technology behind Phantasma is really mind-blowing, and it's a lot better than a lot of other layer 1 blockchains that are literally worth 100 times or 1,000 times more than Phantasma's market cap. So this is the bull case for Phantasma, that the technology is just going to take this coin away. Developers are going to start realizing, wait, I need smart NFT technology. I don't want to use these stagnant NFTs that can't level up. That's terrible. So yeah, that's the bull case. The technology is so good that it's just going to really bring this chain to the moon. Also, a couple things to note about Phantasma is it has infinite transactions per second, or at least it scales infinitely because there's an infinite number of side chains that can be added to Phantasma, and each side chain is going to operate in a fresh way that links back to the main chain. But it means that if a big game developer wants to launch their own game on Phantasma, they can launch their own side chain for it and have it go back to the main Phantasma chain, but the side chain is not going to slow the transactions on the main chain. So this is why it can scale infinitely, is you can just keep adding side chain after side chain after side chain to it, and literally it can have infinite transactions per second across all of Phantasma. But now let's talk about the bear case for Phantasma, because every single bull case has a bear case, and Phantasma is no different. So my bear case for Phantasma is just that the development does not really seem to be as fast, or the number of developers that are excited to build on Phantasma isn't as many as I would have hoped. So I've been following this chain for about 6 months, and I'm still very, very excited about it. I still have a very big position in Phantasma, but it has been very interesting as a lot of game developers reach out to me to do sponsored content. I've actually been messaging a lot of these game developers back saying, hey, have you considered building your game on Phantasma chain? And if you built on Phantasma chain, since I'm a big bag holder of Phantasma, I would be like, more inclined to like give your game some due diligence, really look into it and see if it's a game worth promoting. So I've been telling a bunch of developers like, hey, your game would be so much better if you built it on Phantasma. And so far it's mostly been crickets back. And I'm not sure if that's because these developers are like, they're already building a game on another chain. So switching over just sounds like a massive headache that's not worth it because one YouTuber wants you to. But I feel like if I am right that the technology, that the smart NFT technology that Phantasma has is really revolutionary and really important, then I'm starting to feel like more developers should be developing on Phantasma. Why are we seeing so many games announced on Solana? Is it just because Solana has like the news, it has the market cap, it has the funding? Or is it because Phantasma technology isn't as incredible as I think it is? And that's kind of how I've been wrestling back and forth. But one thing I will note is that my investment track record is pretty good about just seeing stuff a lot before other people do for some reason. I'm not sure why. So I'm really hoping that is the case with Phantasma, and we're gonna see a 10x, 100x, or potentially even 1000x in Phantasma long term. But that is enough about the number 5 coin. Let's move to number 4. So the number 4 and number 3 coins actually have almost the same exact market cap, but coming in just a little bit lower at number 4 is Enjin Coin. Now, Enjin is ENJ, and this coin has a market cap of around $2 billion. So just to put it in perspective, going from 300 million to 2 billion, this coin already now has a market cap that is almost 10x bigger than that of Phantasma. Not quite, but almost. So if we look at Enjin Coin though, over the last 90 days, you can see that it's not the same as Phantasma. It has not been going up. Although it is actually, I'm a little bit impressed. It is actually a little bit up in the last 90 days. It's not doing as bad as I thought, but in the last 30 days, it's definitely down a little bit, about 30%. And from its peak of about 330 about 2 weeks ago, it's now about 215. So that's about 30%, 33% dip in a couple days, which is pretty substantial. So Enjin is another one of these coins that is really going to be powering the metaverse. It's going to be powering a lot of the games that exist in the metaverse, and I think this coin has a lot of potential. So what Enjin Coin is a cryptocurrency for virtual goods. Like I've been talking about, NFTs are these virtual goods. So Enjin is the largest gaming community platform online with over 250 250,000 gaming communities registered with Enjin and over 18.7 million gamers registered. So Enjin is really cool because it kind of has a platform that funds games to build with Enjin Coin. And then the way that Enjin Coin works is it allows game developers to mint these Enjin NFTs, and they can actually put Enjin Coin into the NFT to give the NFTs more inherent value. If a player ever wanted to, instead of selling the NFT, maybe the game dies, they just want to burn the NFT and get the Enjin Coin that are inside. But another really cool thing about Enjin Coin, and this is kind of the bull case here that I'm going to be sharing for Enjin, is that the more games that get added to the ecosystem, the less supply of Enjin actually exists, because Enjin Coin has a max supply, and because game developers can mint Enjin coins into the NFTs, well, the more NFTs that exist across the Enjin ecosystem, the more of that Enjin that is in all of these different NFTs. And that means that eventually, if we get hundreds of millions of NFTs in Enjin, all of a sudden the supply of Enjin is going to start looking very low, and we could continue to see a lot of price appreciation in Enjin, because as the supply drops, as more and more NFTs get minted, all of a sudden Enjin's getting rarer and rarer, and that means that the price is going to get higher and higher, which is both good for all of these NFTs that have Enjin inside of them, because these NFTs are going to be going up in value simply because the coin is going up in value, but also it's really great for the ecosystem itself, because as Enjin gets more value, well, the fund that Enjin has in order to like be the engine of these new metaverses, the funding gets a lot higher and higher because the coins are worth more and they can continue to attract more games to the ecosystem. So it's kind of this flywheel effect where Enjin is hoping, since they were one of the first coins to get in, because they really do have a cool ecosystem for building games in, that this flywheel is just going to lead Enjin to go to the moon. But just like with all of these coins, there's a bear case as well. So let's talk about that. The bear case for Enjin, I think, is really kind of about the games that are currently on Enjin, because Enjin has been attracting a good number of game developers, and there's been some games launched on Enjin that really seem to have a lot of potential, but for some reason or another, so far none of the Enjin games have really started to catch on like I think the developers of Enjin and the developers of these games have hoped. For example, Lost Relics was a game built on Enjin that I thought had so much potential. If you guys don't know or hadn't heard about Lost Relics, it was a little bit like Dota, where you would have your character, you would go dungeon running, and as you clear dungeons, some of the creatures that you killed would drop really rare NFT weapons. And it could be as rare as dropping a 1-of-1 powerful weapon that you would be the only player in the entire game to have if this weapon dropped for you. And this allowed for a little while Lost Relics to be a pretty profitable game to play. And as the popularity of Lost Relics started to increase, well, the value of some of these Lost Relics in the game, which allowed you to clear dungeons faster, started to go up a lot in value. And we did see a lot of players make a lot of money in Lost Relics, but it had one fatal flaw. And this fatal flaw was an inability to scale, which sounds really crazy, but the developer behind Lost Relics is a lone wolf, and to my knowledge, has still been unwilling to hire any additional team members to work on the game with him, which means that essentially like a game like Mirandis, which has 100 employees, or kind of that is where McCarthy wants to be when it launches, the Enjin game Lost Relics is never gonna be able to compete, even if this guy is a mad developer that can do the same development as 10 souls. Well, there's still 100 people against him doing the work of 10 people. He's gonna get exhausted. And yeah, that's kind of the bear case for Enjin so far, is that there's not a single game in the ecosystem yet that I think is going to really propel the ecosystem to virality. Now, that said, remember, there's already almost 20 million gamers a part of the Enjin ecosystem, so maybe it doesn't even need that. And eventually Enjin is just gonna continue, like it has its ups and downs, but it's gonna continue heading in the northward, upward trajectory. And I think that's a pretty good possibility. Now let's talk about the number 3 foundational cryptocurrency that is building the metaverse that I think might be an incredible opportunity to add to your bag. So this one is worth pretty much the same amount as Enjin Enjin Coin right now, and it is called GALA Coin from GALA Games, and the ticker is GALA, and the market cap of this coin is just under $2.3 billion. So it's about $300 million more expensive than Enjin, but still in that 2 billion range. And yeah, very, very similar market cap. So if we look at the chart for this one over the last 90 days, you can see that a lot has happened. It had an incredible run up from about 10 cents to I think over 80 cents at one point, which is an 8x in a matter of a couple of weeks. It was honestly pretty crazy. But now since then, we have seen quite a bit of a dip in the price and value of GALA. And we've gone from that over 80-cent peak to it looks like just around 30 cents, which is quite a bit of a downside. So that means that we would need almost a 3x to get back to the highs that we were at before. So a lot of you guys who have been watching this channel for a while, you'll know what GALA Coin is, but a lot of you guys will also have no idea what GALA Coin is. So just a really basic summary, GALA Coin is designed to power the GALA Games ecosystem, to support gaming reimagined, to benefit creators and players alike. And GALA is the coin that actually powers the node ecosystem, the GALA Games node ecosystem, and the GALA Games nodes are what powers the actual gaming platform that actually powers GALA Games. So all of the games launched by GALA Games, not only do they have real currencies that are cryptocurrencies and real ownership through the power of NFTs, but all of the games launched on the GALA Games platform are also like powered by the community who run nodes in order to allow the games to operate. So it's pretty cool concept, and I love the kind of decentralization that gives for all of the metaverses that are launching on GALA Games. Now, the bull case for GALA Games is really, really bullish. I mean, this team is probably one of the biggest like AAA S tier teams that exists in blockchain gaming so far. The CEO, Eric Schurmeyer, has started multiple billion-plus-dollar companies in the past, like MySpace and Zynga, which had Farmville. Some of the main developers on this team have developed incredible AAA games that I'm sure every single one of you guys who are watching this who's a gamer have played in the past. And we just got some incredible announcements this past December about some brand new games launching on the platform. In fact, Certain Affinity, which is a game developing studio, really, really big, really AAA, that was behind Call of Duty and Halo, just announced that they're launching a game on the GALA Games ecosystem called Last Expedition. This is gonna be massive, just super huge. We also got news recently that AMC's The Walking Dead is releasing an MMO on the GALA Games platform, and just like the quality, the tier of developer that is launching on GALA Games really just makes me super bullish on this coin. But let's talk about the bear case for GALA Coin, because it's not all rainbows and sunshine. So you know, I said that GALA powers the node ecosystem. Well, this means that node owners and node operators are currently minting new GALA every single day in exchange for running the GALA Games ecosystem. But just like Bitcoin has a max supply, GALA has a max supply as well. So because GALA has a max supply, you know, there's not gonna be any inflation over that max amount, but the max supply of GALA is pretty high. In fact, it's around 50 billion coins, which means that the fully diluted valuation of GALA is a lot higher than 2 billion. So 2.3 billion is the current market cap, but the fully diluted market cap of GALA is already over 15 billion. But this essentially just means that there is new supply of GALA being introduced every day. Now, it is important to note that there are some really bullish things ahead for GALA, including yearly halvings of the node distribution, which means that the amount of new supply gets halved every single year, and that's normally a really bullish signal for a coin. And we're not going to see this fully diluted valuation for a really, really long time yet. So it's a little bit deceptive as well, but it's just important to note that there are a lot more GALA coins coming, and a lot of bears are going to point towards that. Now, that does not mean in any way that the price of GALA coin is not going to rebound really hard and hit $1 this year. I think that's a very high probability, but nothing is guaranteed, and I'm just trying to share with you guys all of the information that I have. Now let's move to the number 2 coin on this list. And remember, we're talking about the foundational coins that are literally building the metaverse. And I think that if the metaverse is a really big year this year in 2022 or next year in 2023, eventually it is going to have a really big year. It's hard to time, you know, when these sorts of explosions start to happen, but we are going to see some of the very first AAA metaverse games dropping this year, which I think is going to be really big for the metaverse, really big for play to earn crypto games. But yeah, the number 2 coin on this list is Solana, and the ticker is SOL. Now, like I said, this is a different SOL than Phantasma SOL. This is just SOL, and Solana really rose in popularity because of how fast its transaction speeds are. So Solana is another layer 1 blockchain, just like Phantasma. It is a core blockchain that powers everything that gets built on it. So if we look at the 90-day on Solana, you can see that it had a big rise and a big drop, kind of like a lot of the coins that are on this list. If you compare a lot of these charts, you'll see that they're actually very similar because the whole crypto market does seem to move a little bit, at least a little bit in tandem. But this coin Solana went from about $150 3 months ago to about $135 now. So it just seems like, oh, it's been very stable, it's gone down a bit, but no, it had a parabolic rise all the way up to like $260, a little over 260, I believe, and then has fallen all the way back down to 130. So it has lost about 50% of its value from all-time highs. Now, the bull case on Solana is pretty bullish. So you can see that the market cap of Solana right now is $44 billion. So we're looking at literally 3x the fully diluted market cap of GALA, which was the last coin we were looking at. And you're looking at like, I don't know, 100x, I think, more than 100x for Phantasma to get up to the market cap of Solana. But yeah, what makes Solana, I think, so intriguing as an investment opportunity is just the number of games that have been launching on Solana. So remember how I said that Phantasma just has incredible NFT technology with smart NFTs, but I haven't seen the developers jumping on board? Well, Solana is actually kind of the opposite. Solana doesn't have smart NFTs. What Solana has is just incredibly fast transaction speeds. I think the fastest transaction speeds of any blockchain, and it has really cheap fees. Now, Phantasma also has really cheap fees, so they're kind of equal there. But then the third thing that Solana has that Phantasma doesn't is Solana just seems to be able to attract developer after developer after developer. In fact, just to name 3 games that have recently been announced that they're launching on Solana, or were announced last year that they're launching on Solana, are Star Atlas, which if you guys haven't heard about Star Atlas yet, I highly recommend checking out some of my other videos on that project. Super high AAA tier project that's being built on Unreal Engine 5. Another game, Aurora, was just announced on Solana. We have Soul Chicks announced on Solana, and that is just to name a few. It seems like there's another game announced on Solana every single day. And when you compare that to Phantasma, well, Phantasma does have some cool games on their ecosystem, like 22 Racing Series, Wonder Man Nation's supposed to be coming out soon. I've been hearing about an MMO RPG launching on Phantasma soon, hopefully. But it's just like, the speed or the number, it's not really comparable, and I am not exactly sure why. Now, the bear case for Solana is twofold. One, it just has a really high market cap already compared to most of these other smart chains that aren't Ethereum. And two, Solana's actually been having a lot of issues with intermittent instability. I think because so many users have been getting onboarded on Solana, which is very bullish for Solana, it's actually though started to show some weaknesses in the chain, and the developers have been working really hard to stop this intermittent instability. This is definitely something that you do not want to see in a blockchain, where the whole point of a blockchain is security, is real ownership, is the inability for hacking or stealing of things from your wallet. So Solana having this intermittent instability has led a lot of investors to say, man, is this really where I should have my money? But I think that the Solana team is one of those top tier teams that's going to continue working until it's right. But then another thing about Solana that's not true about the next coin that I'm about to mention is Solana isn't actually that decentralized either. It's still a pretty centralized blockchain, which means that if you really care about the whole decentralization aspect, the fact that no one person or one company really has control or power over the entire chain, then Solana probably isn't the one to look at. But I think that because of the number of games, the number of metaverses that are being built on Solana, that it probably still has a lot of upside long term. Now it's time to look at the number one metaverse coin on my list. And this coin has a very high market cap. We're adding pretty much another zero to Solana's market cap of like 40 billion, and we're going up to $370 billion market cap. And this number one coin is Ethereum. Now, Ethereum is most likely to be one that you have heard of before, and it's definitely not small. It's the second biggest cryptocurrency under Bitcoin. And personally, I think that after Ethereum 2.0 drops, which is hopefully going to be this year, we'll see that there is the potential for a flippening where Ethereum actually passes up Bitcoin in total value. Now, if you guys don't know, Ethereum, like Solana, like Phantasma, is a layer 1 blockchain. It is also a smart chain, which allows for NFT technology. Now, Ethereum and Solana don't have smart NFTs like Phantasma has, but that doesn't mean that they can't integrate smart NFTs in the future. Now, one thing that Phantasma and Solana both have that Ethereum really struggles with is cheap transaction fees. Ethereum has some of the most expensive transaction fees of any blockchain that exists, and well, besides Bitcoin. And the reason for that is the proof of work system that currently validates every transaction. We don't need to get into that in this video, but what you guys do need to know is there is a really big change planned for Ethereum this year. And this change is going to be Ethereum 2.0, where Ethereum migrates over to the Beacon chain, which instead of being proof of work is proof of stake, which is a lot less energy intensive and is going to allow for a lot cheaper transaction fees. Now, Ethereum already, because it was the OG smart chain, has the most development of any chain in existence. In fact, some of these other coins that I mentioned in this list, like GALA and Enjin Coin, are literally coins built on Ethereum. So if you're bullish on GALA, if you're bullish on Enjin Coin, well, you should probably own some Ethereum as well, because Ethereum literally is the backbone, the layer 1 of these other two coins. And yeah, Ethereum of all of these is probably the most likely to like never go away. Just there's way too much development on Ethereum already. Everything kind of ties back to Ethereum, and Ethereum is just a real juggernaut, I think, in the metaverse space, and is going to stay a juggernaut in the metaverse space. Even Phantasma, which is another layer 1 like Ethereum, the very first interoperable chain for cross-chain transactions for Phantasma, well, one of them was to Ethereum, literally to Ethereum, Neo, and Binance. Phantasma switches back and forth to those. So even Ethereum and Phantasma, like, they are linked integrally. So essentially the point that I'm trying to get across here is that unlike Phantasma, which a lot of these other chains just ignore, not a single other chain ignores Ethereum. Everything links back to Ethereum. And I think that because of that, Ethereum has a lot more long-term value going forward. So if we look at the chart of Ethereum over the last 90 days, you can see that Ethereum is actually one of the worst off in a 90-day period. We were about $3,500. Now we're just about 3,000, but Ethereum just a month ago, it seems like was really trying to hit $5,000. So back down to 3,000 is a pretty substantial dip in Ethereum. And this could prove long-term to have been a great time to buy into Ethereum. Personally, I am staking a bunch of Ethereum to ETH 2.0, which I can't actually pull back out until ETH 2.0 launches, but it's allowing me to earn earn a yield with my Ethereum. So now let's go over the bull case for Ethereum a little bit. The reason why I think that 2022 could be an incredible explosion year for Ethereum. And this is that recently there was a change to Ethereum where now every single time that someone trades something on Ethereum, a little bit of ETH gets burned. It literally gets destroyed. And this was enacted in order to counteract the amount of Ethereum that gets created, because Ethereum also gets created in order to reward everyone who's validating all of the transactions on Ethereum. But since this change happened that started burning Ethereum, the amount of new Ethereum that comes into existence every day has slowly been declining. And here's the theory about why Ethereum might see an incredible bull run when ETH 2.0 comes out. And this theory is that the transaction volume of ETH is going to skyrocket when the transaction fees of ETH start to plummet. And I think that this theory has a lot going for it. Right now, when you try to do a transaction on Ethereum, it can cost upwards of like $100 or $200 in order to buy something that costs $200. In fact, I just bought a True Provider Exemplar NFT for the upcoming Metaverse Mirandus recently. It was a really great deal. I got it for like $230, which was like half the going price of these NFTs. I was like, this is incredible. I got like such a great deal on this, like $200. But then I had to pay $160 in ETH gas fees. And I was like, all right, well, that kind of sucks. I guess I'm almost paying real price. But honestly, it is still a great deal because even if you bought it at the higher price, you still would have had to pay the gas fee. So essentially these fees, I think, are just really reducing the total transaction volume of Ethereum every day. And despite that, ETH still has the most transaction volume of any chain in existence, including Bitcoin, because so much is just built on it that so many people need to use it for so many real things. And when Ethereum's transaction fees go away pretty much, the volume is going to go up a ton. The number of trades with ETH, the number of transactions on ETH is going to start skyrocketing. And remember, there was just a recent change to Ethereum where every single time there's a transaction, some of Ethereum is burned. So when the number of transactions starts to skyrocket, the number of Ethereum that gets burned every day is also going to skyrocket. And there are a bunch of people theorizing that when ETH 2.0 drops, there is going to start being more ETH burned than ETH that's minted every day. Which means that Ethereum, instead of being inflationary, where there's more and more ETH every day, it's gonna turn into a deflationary asset, meaning that Ethereum, that ETH is going to get rarer and rarer every day as more and more gets burned every day because there's so many transactions that are existing on the network. And if ETH turns deflationary, it literally starts getting more rare. It's gonna be like a Bitcoin halving on steroids. And we could see an incredible price run up in Ethereum. And that's personally why I've actually been adding a lot to Ethereum, despite the fact that it is by far the highest market cap coin on this list. I think it still has a lot of upside. Now, there will be a lot of people that tell you things like Ethereum's gonna be worth 10 trillion someday. Like we're talking like $200,000 per ETH. While this is possible, the only way anything like that I think happens in the short or near term is if Ethereum actually becomes deflationary. Now, the bear case for Ethereum is that there are these up and coming chains that are just gonna blow Ethereum out of the water, like Phantasma, like Solana. I think you guys should do your own research and decide, but I think there's just way too much built on Ethereum for that to actually ever be true. Ethereum is always gonna exist, and I think that there is room in the metaverse for more than one blockchain. I think all three of these chains, these layer one chains that I mentioned in this video, will continue to exist. So there you have it, guys. Those are my 5 coins that I think could be incredible buys to ride the metaverse explosion. If you guys enjoyed this video and my analysis of each of these coins, then dropping a big thumbs up would be very much appreciated, as that will help out this video in the YouTube algorithm. Also, if you just watched this whole video and you're not subscribed yet, what are you doing? Make sure you hit subscribe and click that notification bell so that you do not miss any future content. My name is Jake, and this channel, On-Chain Gaming, is all about the future of the metaverse and and play to earn gaming. So if you want to stay up to date with it and continue to hear about more of these opportunities, then yeah, make sure you're hitting subscribe. And then I will end by saying thank you to all of our incredible Patreon supporters. Thank you guys so much for supporting the creation of this content. I don't make these videos by myself. Nate, my brother, edits all these videos. Josh, our friend, does the original intro and outro music. And he also runs our second channel, On-Chain Gaming Clips, which you can check out in the description below. So thank you guys so much for supporting the creation of this content. And until next time, everyone, have fun getting rich in the metaverse and have fun roaming the metaverse.